Oh, I think I set it up right. I think I did it all. Yeah, looks like we're working. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Totally Local Podcast. We go over totally local stuff every week. What can I say? We have colorful characters, entrepreneurial businesses, and we love the Jersey Shore. Don't we, Leo? Hi, Leo.
Hi, how are you?
As with me always, my wonderful co-host. And this week we have a lovely guest, Heather Shulze. It's not Heather Shulze, although Leo really wanted to change her name.
It could be Shulze. Be fancy.
Shulze.
Yeah.
Anywho, hello, Heather. How's it going?
I'm great.
All right, good.
We're very, very happy to finally get you on the show.
Yeah, it took a little while. Took some time, but we did it. And I think I hit the... Yeah, I did. Boom. I'm an audio engineer. Yeah, I did it.
See?
All right,
it only
cool.
took 28 episodes.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
this is 29, and we did it last time,
This
too.
is 29, and yeah, well, we had some technical difficulties, but that's neither here nor there. I feel like a real audio engineer because you saw me get it all going here.
Yeah,
you know,
lots of wires going on.
Lots of stuff. So, speaking of wires and unwiring and rewiring, Habitat for Humanity, coastal style. So, as far as I know, now Leo's made me really nervous because he said I rant in the beginning of episodes and I don't get to a point, and then he's like, just ask a question. But I don't worry. You got to taxi the runway and then you got to take off. You know, there's a lot of prep going on. Anywho, from what I know of just, you know, Habitat for Humanity, they work on building houses.
Correct.
So coastal Habitat for Humanity, there seems to be a lot going on. I visited it's called the Restore.
Yep.
Right? I get it now. Restore, and store, and then you restore. So there's the store aspect of it. Are you also involved as far as the coastal Habitat for Humanity? Is that also involved in like building houses as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Coastal Habitat for Humanity is an affiliate of Habitat for Humanity International.
Mm-hmm.
And really the way that Habitat started, Habitat for Humanity International, was building single-family homes for lower-income individuals and people in need. We're an affiliate of them, so we do build single-family homes. We're actually working on a home right now at 626 Prospect right in Asbury Park.
Cool.
That will be hopefully done by September is our hope. It's a little construction's always a questionable time frame, and we're
Permits and planning and all that.
right, and just whether you're stuck with things like that. And in Habitats, we're volunteer driven, so we bring in volunteers to do the vast majority of the labor on the homes. So we're even in the construction world, we're even less tied to a schedule because if we don't have volunteers coming in, we can't move as quickly on the homes.
How do you I can do certain things manually. Certain things I do not know how to do. But like if you want to help out, is there something where no matter what your skill set level is, you could come in and help?
We say that as long as you have the desire to help, we can find something for you to do.
Wow. That's great.
And that even means on the home builds. So there's always projects that have landscaping and things like that and cleanup. There's digging projects. We have a construction manager position within the organization that's a paid position. Then we have anywhere from, I'd say at this point, we probably have about 12 regular construction volunteers who come in and work with us. They give us anywhere from 1 to 5 days a week, mostly retired folks who just want to give back. And they have the skill and the patience and the desire to teach the volunteers who come on the sites, you know, less frequently. So, you know, you can go on the site and you'll be, you know, putting up sheetrock and, you know, putting windows in and all kinds of framing things that you would never think you could do. But they work right alongside the volunteers. The core volunteers work right alongside the newer volunteers and really give them a great experience helping. So like our house at 626 Prospect, we'll have probably 500 to 600 volunteers that have actually touched some piece of that home by the time it's done and the keys are handed over to the family.
That's great. That's awesome.
So when we're talking about coastal habitat for humanity versus Habitat for Humanity, is that just what area are we focusing on?
So we're basically southern coastal Monmouth County. We're a pretty small affiliate. We cover basically parts of Ocean Township south to the border, to the Ocean County border, and then from the Parkway over to the ocean, so the Parkway East.
And so for all of our millions of listeners who listen from Ocean County, because there's millions of people who live in Ocean County and they all listen. Where would they go to participate, to give back, to volunteer if it wouldn't be Coastal Habitat?
So most, like I would guess everywhere, but most territories, at least around here, are covered by some affiliate. So there's a Northern Ocean Habitat for Humanity. So people could go there, and there's also Southern Ocean. And here in Monmouth County, we have Coastal, which is us, and then we have Habitat for Humanity of Monmouth County, which covers basically the rest of the county. The good thing to know that is if you have a desire to volunteer or to donate, if you get to any one of us, we're very good at directing people where they should go and what's more local to them. We just took a call this morning from somebody who wanted to do some work in Western Monmouth, and our volunteer coordinator, of course, gave that person their information to go out and help out with them. Not that we don't want people from all over geographically,
right?
But if somebody's just trying to, volunteer in their backyard, if that's really their desire, we try and make sure that they get to the right place.
And how long have you been working with Coastal Habitat?
Not too long. I've been there about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half at this point.
Okay.
So pretty new to the job, but really liking it, and I think we're doing really great work.
And what do you do for Coastal Habitat?
So I'm the executive director, so that means that sort of I run the operation, which seems pretty scary to me when I think about it. But I have a fantastic staff that works under me, and together we make the wheels turn and keep projects moving. We do, like I said, we have the home build that's going on right now in Asbury Park, but another big part of our mission, which is especially important to our affiliate, is doing home renovation and repairs for people. So you can imagine where I said our service territory is, there's not tons of vacant land left by us, and what vacant land is left is pretty expensive. So for us, building 5 or 6 single-family homes a year is going to be really difficult, if not impossible. What we can do is help people who are living in their homes, many who have been there for multiple generations, that are on a fixed income or have a low income, and they have this great asset, but they don't have the means to upkeep it. So we are able to go in and help people make sure that they can maintain safe, affordable housing. It often comes down to, think of an older individual who has been in their home for a long time. Maybe they need to put in a wheelchair ramp, or at least make repairs to steps because they're starting to have a harder time walking. Or make sure that their railings are secure so that they can use railings or grab bars in a bathroom. So the idea is where somebody may not be able to afford to make those renovations themselves, if they had some help with that, they could stay in that home rather than looking at having to move into an assisted living or downsizing or something.
Okay.
People's homes are that's the most important thing to people, is having that home. And we also will go out and just do yard cleanups and painting for people to help them regain some of the pride of home ownership. So those are important pieces of what we're doing with the renovation and rehab. And then we have our Restore, which you already mentioned earlier today. The Restore is fantastic because it's a really cool place to go shop.
It really is.
For used housewares and furniture, appliances. We have construction materials. There's always some kind of strange treasure that comes in the store. I don't let myself walk through the store every day because I would spend every dime that I made in my paycheck. Because there's just always something cool that you can get there, from brand new items to antiques that people are seeking. And all of the revenue that we generate in the Restore goes back to our programs. So if you come in and you shop there, you're going to get something cool, and you're also going to actually help somebody right in your backyard, basically. Because that's where we're doing our work. So that money that we generate goes right to the programs like the renovations and repairs that I was just talking about.
So how do you choose who you're going to help or assist? Is there a sign up, or are they people going online and just signing up and you choose that way?
So it's a little different. There's an application process for any renovation and repair projects. You do have to be within certain income limits, and you do have to own your home. There's a lot of discussion right now, both within our affiliate and other local affiliates, and then nationally, because there's Habitat for Humanity affiliates around the country and internationally as well, There's a lot of discussion about how we can start helping renters who are in have poor rental conditions, but we're not quite there yet. So you do have to own your home, and there's an application process. We market. We go through senior centers and things to try and find people that need our assistance, and then for the single-family homes, we actually will keep a running list of people who are interested in receiving a Habitat home. And when we know we're about to, break ground on a new home, we will go through a screening process and just select the family based on, certain criteria. And all of the families that are selected for assistance are supposed to do what's called sweat equity. So the families, especially on the single-family home builds, are expected to put in hours volunteering to build their own house. And that can come in multiple forms. They may be there actually, banging nails next to people, but they may come to events. When we have volunteer groups on site, we'll sometimes call the homeowner who's been chosen to come and talk to them because it's pretty inspiring. We had a group from Keene College come. They gave up their spring break to come and build with us on the house for 3 days. And the homeowner got to come out and meet them, and those kids were so inspired by the time they left that day. It was like we were all inspired because they were so happy that they got to meet the homeowner. So
That's cool.
yeah, it's pretty neat.
We had a couple technical difficulties, but I worked it all out, so we're all good.
Good.
Just to give you a clue of what I was rummaging around doing. Epic shouts to Mike to letting me know that there was a problem and letting me know that I fixed it. So, you are the executive director. Did we go over this already?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure everyone at home knew that.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, just keep going then, because I'm a little behind on the times.
So so let's say, for example, I know that you said you have a position open right now, and so you do hire people who would have contracting skills or things like
Absolutely.
that. Although mostly you're going to have volunteers. Do you do anything like internship programs or anything like that, like skills building classes or seminars?
It's actually an area that we're looking at moving into. We've taken interns, but they tend to be more social work interns that are helping us in our administrative offices doing programming and all. But we've started discussions with Brookdale about Brookdale actually has a handyman contracting kind of skills course that they offer. And we've started discussion with them about how we can be a site where they might be able to send some of their students to get some more hands-on experience. We also have had some discussions with the Boys and Girls Club, and we've done some small programs with the Boys and Girls Club, mostly with their older kids, so they have programs for the later teens, where they've come in and just helped us with some small projects, and it's a lot of fun. And those core construction volunteers that I was telling you about, they just love to teach. So when the kids have come in for the few programs that we've had with Boys and Girls Club, and they've gotten to work alongside them. Again, the kids leave inspired, and you feel like maybe you've taught them something that they didn't have someone else to teach them or that they never knew before, and maybe it sparks some interest in them. And the volunteers come to us and say, we should keep doing that. So we're looking at sort of expanding that and maybe doing some after-school programming. The really cool thing about the house that we're building in Asbury Park right now at 626 Prospect, it's basically across the street from the Boys and Girls Club. So when we get a little bit further on that house, and the weather's a little better in the summer, that's one of the times when we'll look at, are there kids who we've sparked some interest in with building, or, even, again, doing the landscaping, planting some flowers for this family that's going to move into the house. We think it could be really cool. And we also think it would be really neat to, imagine a kid who's going to the Boys and Girls Club for programming every day, being able to walk past a house and say, I helped build that house for that family that's living. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So we hope that we'll expand that program over the summer.
How does that work with, you hand the keys over and the person takes the home, and then, taxes, insurance, how does all of that kind of come into play when they take over the house?
So Habitat homeowners do have to qualify for a mortgage, and, they actually own their home and they pay towards the mortgage.
Cool.
There's some changes out there. Historically, Habitat affiliates have held mortgages for people, and they were 0% mortgages. So, most of your Habitat affiliates, including ours, are going to have sort of a portfolio of mortgages that we hold, and we collect just like any other lender would. So people pay us monthly. Some people pay their taxes and insurance direct. Some people pay it to us, and it gets escrowed, and then we make those payments just like a regular lender.
Oh, cool.
There's sort of been a shift now where a lot of affiliates, including ours, are looking to have people actually go out into the private lending market and, access some of the more affordable mortgage programs. And really the reason for it is because we're not very good at being lenders. And there's a lot of laws that have changed over the last 5 or 6 years that make it, you have a lot of obligations as a lender. And for a small affiliate like ours, we would have to have basically a full-time person to help us meet those requirements. So it's part of the reason why there's been that shift of trying to get people to get mortgages in the private market. It's kind of an open question right now, but whether people have a mortgage, whether it's held by us or held by a bank.
So I know we had some technical difficulties at the start. I just want to, for anybody who's now joining us or listening live, I want to let everybody know that we do have Heather Shulze, not Shulze, the fancy version, but just Heather Shulze from Coastal Habitat, which is a
Coastal Habitat for Humanity. And,
yeah.
Just to let you know, we have a backup of the audio, so I'm going to splice whatever, I'm going to fix it when we put it back up. It's live now. Everything's working. So,
So one of the biggest pieces for me that even made me realize that that you had a presence in the area was, like you said, the Restore, which I love because I love things that are really nice for good prices.
Oh yeah. Although you told me that you can't get plants in there.
Wait, there are
No, you
plants
can
in
get
there.
plants.
Yeah,
But
see?
but I looked at the biggest beautiful plant in there, and they're like, no, you can't have this.
So twice a year, we're very lucky because twice a year we get, when the bars close at the shore, two popular shore bars, the Parker House and the Columns, when they close, they actually the owners donate all of the plants that they had there to us, and then we sell them. And they do it every year. It's absolutely amazing. And when they first come in, you walk into the Restore, and it's like you're walking into a forest all of a sudden. There's just plants everywhere.
So you got to hit it at the right time of the year.
You have to hit it at the right time of the year, yeah.
It's my experience with getting rid of furniture, meaning like I don't need this anymore, or my mother-in-law wanted to get rid of stuff, and she was just like, you could sell it. It was like these, they were nice, but it was like these leather couches from like the 80s. And I was like, they're sweet. And if I was like Scarface, I would love these, but like, I don't think I could get rid of them. And, they were in beautiful shape. They were great. I knew somebody would want them, but a lot of people go into this mode of like, oh, well, I have this stuff, I could sell it. And it's a lot people don't think of, and I didn't think of it until you go through the process of like, all right, I'm going to put it up somewhere. Now I'm going to wait for weeks and weeks. Okay, I feel like, because it's so beautiful and Scarface would love it, that this couch is like $1,000. And people are like, no, I don't want to give you $1,000 for this couch. And then it's like, okay, well, how are you going to pick it up? Like, you have to come and get it and all these things. So, what ended up happening more often than not, like 100% of the time, is like you end up donating it. So how does that come in to where if somebody wanted to donate stuff, does Habitat for Humanity like come pick it up?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So we have all the habitats will go and pick up, whether you're in our service territory or in a different affiliate's territory. We have an awesome driver who goes out. The store manager will sort of take field calls of people who want to donate things, and then she sets up a schedule. And, the most that we typically are picking up, like going out, scheduling out, is about a week. We try and keep it to a week. Sometimes it goes a little longer depending on what we have going on. But so typically within a week, we can have somebody come out. They won't go out and pick up like small items, but we'll receive small items at the store Wednesday through Saturday during our open hours, basically. So, you're talking about that couch. You're right. It's a lot of work to sell stuff. And we hear that from people all the time. They come in and they say, I want to donate this. And they're like, I tried to sell it, and it's just so much work. I should have just come, and you guys could have picked it up in a week, and the headache would have been over.
Yeah.
And we do give, if somebody's interested and they want it, we always give a receipt for tax purposes so you can get the credit for making the donation, which is nice. And again, you're really helping right in your backyard. One thing about the Restores and the affiliates is we do try and stay within we have to stay within our territory. So if somebody calls our store from, Monmouth Beach and wants to make a donation, what we do is actually refer them to the Habitat Monmouth Restore, which is in Freehold. Sometimes they can't pick up, and then they'll call us and say, do you want that stuff? Because we can't get that far away. So we all sort of work together to make sure people get to the right place. And then again, if something happens and, the person needs the item picked up in a week and they can't get there for 3 weeks, then they'll call us and say, or they'll tell the customer to call us back.
That's cool.
So it's nice because it's a really great source of revenue for the programs. And people, it's really fun to shop there. It's just like going to a store and shopping. And
well, and the thing too, as like a homeowner now, things that I never thought of, like I'm looking at stuff. Like I was in there today and I was looking around and I'm like, this washer, there's a dishwasher in there. I'm like, this is in great shape. Or the fridge that's in there is looks awesome. And, being somebody now that knows the cost of things, like I've had to fix my washer now a couple times because it's getting older, and it's like I'm like, oh, like how much is a new washer? And it's kind of like if you don't, if you're watching your budget, like it's kind of tough. But going in there, I was like, wow, it seems to me like there are instances where people are remodeling their kitchen. Oh, yeah. And they're balling out till they've fallen out, like they don't care. So they're like, I don't need this like washing machine or this dishwasher or refrigerator anymore. It's in great shape, but I wanna get something fancy with like a screen on the fridge for God knows whatever reason. So they're donating this stuff because they don't even need to worry about those kind of things. And you're picking these things up and passing on the savings, basically.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that I didn't even mention that we will do for homeowners that are doing renovations is we'll actually go out and do tear outs when we can. So,
really?
Kitchens are a big... there's a lot of kitchens being redone in our area, I guess. When we get a donated kitchen in that either somebody has just brought and donated or that we went and picked up or that we've actually gone out and pulled all the cabinets and the appliances out and brought it into the restore, we can't keep them in the restore. So there's a huge market for it. So when we get those in, we really see, that's a really nice push. And then we know that we can do more programming and help more of the people. There's times when, we have a list of homes that we'd like to be helping people with renovations, but you can only do what you can do.
Yeah.
So it's nice when we see those little boosts. And if you're getting rid of your kitchen, the other thing that the restore does is keep all of that material from going into a landfill then.
Yeah.
Because basically, contractors are going to go in. They may not take the time to pull the cabinets out and send them to us. But if we can go in and do that, it helps the contractor because they're not wasting their time doing that. And they're not paying the dumpster fees, so it helps the homeowner as well, and it helps our environment because all of that stuff that would go in the dumpster doesn't wind up in the landfill.
It's like estimated,
there.
Like millions. You guys have saved like millions and millions of pounds or whatever going into the waste.
I think that we just had our 25th anniversary a few weeks ago, our celebration, and I think that the estimate, I won't want you to quote me on it, but I think that the estimate is 177 million tons of material has been kept out of the landfills just through our restore. So across the country, imagine the impact of that not being in a landfill is pretty cool.
That is cool.
So we talked a lot about the things that you have in your restore, right? Furniture, appliances, things like that. Are there some things that you are not taking that people try to string a lot?
Well, so we won't take stuff. We do try and have nice stuff. So if if people call us and they want to donate couches or things like that are in bad condition or ripped or really stained, we won't take that. We will always try and refer people to other organizations that will take them. But if you've been in the store, we really do try and have it be a little bit nicer of a thrift store. Then there's things that we just generally won't take, like we don't take clothing. There's other thrift shops very local to us that have amazing clothing. I go to them all the time, but we're not that. So, and then there's just certain big pieces of furniture that frankly, when we get them, we just can't sell them. So there'll be times when, we'll say we can't take any desks right now because we have, an attorney's office that donated 10 enormous, mahogany desks to us that are taking up so much of the showroom that we, until we move some of them, we really can't take in items like that.
Do you guys have like a warehouse? Because I was looking at the property itself. It's a really beautiful where the restore is. There's like offices behind it as well.
Right. That's where our administrative offices are.
And there's like sick parking because in Asbury, if you try to go anywhere, I mean, it's on Memorial. It's obviously easier to park mostly. But you guys have your own parking, which is pretty cool. I don't know. I think it's cool. But the building itself, like the where you guys are, was that specifically built for you guys in mind, or was it?
It was it was a warehouse that was there, but it was redesigned with Habitat in mind, and then the administrative offices in the back were redone to have us in that space. So it's great in some ways, and we wish we had. You said you started this by saying, "Do you have a warehouse?"
Yeah.
And no, we don't. And there's times when we wish we did have more storage space for items.
Yeah, but it always comes down to you have more space, then you're just going to fill it up with stuff.
Well,
so it kind of helps you guys move it around
Exactly.
a little more.
The one time when we wish we had that space would be like at the holidays, because post Christmas people will want to donate, all their old trees and stuff, and we sell that stuff like crazy. But if we take it in January, we have nowhere to put it until October or November when people start thinking about it again. And then with like seasonal furniture. So, at the end in the fall or even in the spring, sometimes people more in the fall, they're like, oh, I'm going to get a new thing in the spring. So they're looking to get rid of stuff and nobody's going to buy it then. So we sometimes wind up not taking that because we just don't have any place to store it for the time being.
We got to work on some marketing for that where like you really push it out there where you're like, hey, if you want this stuff, it's the off season. You want some plants, columns just dropped a bunch off. You gotta. So let us know, and we'll totally let other people know.
That would be awesome.
Speaking of, sorry.
No, I was going to say marketing is, we're a nonprofit, so we don't have money for marketing. When we place an ad in the Coaster or do a show or something, where, that's a big expense for us that you don't think about. But we're sort of, we're a not-for-profit, but we're a social enterprise, so we have that business piece. And then we have our mission piece, which is building the houses and renovating the houses. But the business is really the restore. So I came from the mission piece. And so knowing about marketing and things like that, and even social media is not my skill. We have people who do social media for us, and that's great. But yeah, marketing is always one of those things that you wish you had a big budget for, and you just don't. So,
well, anytime you want to market anything, just call us up, and we'll let people know on the show.
We appreciate it.
No problem.
Speaking of marketing, I did see you recently in a parade. You were walking in a parade for Habitat.
Yeah.
And are you planning on doing any of the parades coming up for the summer?
Well, we right now, actually this morning, we were discussing whether we should do any of the 4th of July parades coming up. We try and do whatever we can, and we try and be a good. Part of our mission, in addition to the houses and everything we've spoken about, we really want to be a good neighbor. Being in Asbury Park, it's an amazing community, and there are so many great nonprofits and social service agencies and the city and different groups that are, resident groups that are working together to make the city even better than it already is. And we want to be a part of that. So we try and participate in as much as we can. We try and support our other collaborative partners or people that we don't know that are just doing good stuff. So yeah, going out and doing the parades, it gets our name out there so people learn about us. We hear all the time that people don't even know that the Restore exists, which is sad.
Right.
But so getting out there and doing a parade, then they see the Restore truck and maybe somebody goes, what is that thing? Or we get to talk to one of them. So it's partly marketing and it's partly just trying to be a good neighbor and give back to the community as much as we can. We can't do everything. We have we're coming into the season now in Asbury of lots of community events and different things to participate in. Asbury Alive is this coming Saturday. We'll be there. We'll have a presence there. And then in a couple weeks, there's another community day called Super Safe Summer on June 8th. So we'll be participating in that.
Getting all of our events in as well.
Boom.
I mean, we do as much as we can, but we're a very small staff. We're only 5-person staff, and then we're volunteer driven. But our volunteers do so much for us that sometimes when you're looking at an event and trying to staff an event, and you have 2 staff people who can go, but you need 3, you're asking the volunteers to do that much more. And they're fantastic. Don't get me wrong; they usually step right up, and that's why we're able to do things like the parade. That was we had a lot of volunteers there that day. But sometimes you do kind of go, oh, should we be asking them to do like 10 more things this month? So
just push it to the limit. Well, that's great. I mean, it's there's something that people obviously there's a joy in helping others and getting this stuff out there, and it is important because you're kind of filling this gap between all these different things where people obviously need help with their homes, but like you were saying before, the waste, like you're kind of taking care of that and making sure that. It's just like something. You like you were saying. You're there's only so much you could do, but the fact that you're doing what you're doing is incredible because it is definitely helping. You know, so it is pretty amazing. And I liked the store. I wish I could have spent more time in it today. We're looking at getting a new, as Leo loves me talking about my bathroom renovations. We're we're looking at we looked at a couple sinks that were there, and we're like, these could work. You know, my lovely wonderful wife is questioning how big of a bathroom sink we need, and I'm like, what do we do? We're not washing pots and pans in the bathroom sink. You know, how big? You know, so obviously she gets the final say in what we do, but I like the idea of being able to go in there and check stuff out and see, what is actually available. So that was pretty cool.
Well, and stuff constantly comes and goes. So if you follow us on Facebook or on social media, Amy, our restore manager, is, she's often posting sales because, 1 week we'll get 10 couches donated and we don't have room for them. So we have a sale on couches or on, bathroom sinks. So
everything must go.
Yeah. So things come and go so quickly. So it's neat because you can walk through the store once a week and we have people who come on the same day every week and just see what's flipped and what's new that's in the store because things come and go so quickly. So you may not have seen a sink today that works, but there may be a sink there tomorrow that works.
There's a lot of stuff too that's not even like hardware, like tool stuff that's not even open that people donate. So I mean that's it. Was it when you first came into town? Was it kind of, how did you let people, how did you let how did you let people know?
I mean, the Restore's been there for 12 years. We were around the corner on 3rd Avenue.
I remember, I've heard about it, and then, the hours were weird. Yeah. This was years ago, and, you couldn't really find it as easily. Now it, looks super cool on the outside.
So we've been in that new space for about a year and a half. And, again, it's a great space, so it's right away we're attracting more attention that way. There's not a budget for marketing, so it's a lot of word of mouth, and we do get people who we feel strongly that once you've been in the Restore, it's going to be on your radar when you need something, because it's just a cool place, and the people who are in there volunteering and staffing it, they love what they do, so they love talking to people, they love selling stuff, they love talking to people about what we're doing with the revenue that's generated. So once we get people in, we think that helps us with the word of mouth. And, then again, it's just the other stuff of doing the community events and giving out coupons to people and trying to just generate more interest in it.
So what is as the executive director, which is, pretty big, pretty lofty title right there. So your day, what's your typical, what are you doing
What are you doing?
What are you doing? I feel
what do you do all day?
You're spinning a lot of plates, you juggling a lot of things.
Sipping coffee and your feet up.
You do spin a lot of plates for sure. Again, because we're such a small staff, and we all are, we're a teamwork staff. There's nobody who doesn't, I may be in the Restore cleaning the bathroom if it needs to be done and there's no one else to do it. So we're all kind of those pitch-in sort of people on the staff. It's real important. And I think it's very important to be like that, especially in a volunteer-driven organization, because I don't ever want to ask a volunteer to do something for our organization that I wouldn't do myself. That's just wrong to me. So, we spend time trying to, keep things running, obviously, and doing a lot of scheduling with the houses being built and the projects that are going on, participating with, collaborative partners and doing meetings and planning events or, planning initiatives, which there's a few of going on in Asbury Park. So it's important to have a voice for safe, affordable housing at some of those. Just dealing with the general staffing and keeping the business running, and things like 2 weeks ago we had a real weird storm in Asbury a couple weeks ago on a Monday morning at 4 a.m. And we got to the office and we had no phones and internet, so not me so much, but we were all kind of troubleshooting that for I don't know, 24 hours, and then the next day we found out that the Restore had actually gotten some damage, we think, through a lightning strike. It's not 100% confirmed. So it was like a week of no phones and internet. Just stuff like that. When you say, spinning plates, you're trying to work on our phones, and we have chargers everywhere because everybody's phone is going dead. And then we work very hard to make sure that we let our volunteers know. I work very hard to make sure that I let our volunteers know how much we appreciate them. So we're constantly planning, volunteer appreciation and just making sure that we're connecting with them. I don't want to be as the executive director, and I don't want any of my staff to be sort of sitting in the admin building and not interacting with our volunteers. We couldn't exist without them. So, I do make it a point. I try not to shop, but I make it a point of almost every day, if not every day, walking through the race store, and I try and go out to the job sites so that I can see what's happening and just connect with the folks that are doing the work for us, because, again, we couldn't do it without them. We're 5 people. What else do I do? and then you spend some time like dreaming about all the stuff that you wish you could do, and dreaming, but also then trying to make some of that real and look at what other affiliates are doing to, like I said earlier, to is there ways that we can sort of address some of the crisis with the conditions and some of the rental housing? That would be an amazing thing for us to figure out to do, and so you spend some time thinking about programs like that. Or
what are some of your like a big dream like something that you've thought of recently where you've been like, I don't know how I would do it, but like that's what.
So 2 things that I would really love to figure out: the conditions in rental housing, which it's not that we couldn't do them, but if it's kind of a catch-22. You don't want people to be living in poor conditions, but if an agency like ours or anybody goes in and they fix them up for free, basically, then you're kind of benefiting the landlord.
The landlord's like,
should
sweet.
Be responsible for fixing those problems.
Yeah.
So it's just not an easy issue, but it's a lot of that rental housing is in crisis because of the poor conditions, and Habitat's mission is that everybody deserves a safe, affordable place to live. Well, some of those conditions aren't safe. So I wish that we could translate it somehow and stop just helping the homeowners and begin to figure out programs that help the renters. So that's one of my dreams. The other one is to figure out a way that we can start collecting some of the boarded up, really dilapidated, uninhabitable housing stock, which there's a fair amount of. It's not terrible, but there's a fair amount that's just sitting. We need housing, and we need affordable housing. So if we could figure out ways to have money to invest and purchase those properties, I know that our staff and our volunteers can go in and fix those homes and get them back online and then rent them to, have beautiful homes for people. In a city like Asbury Park, there's probably, I could name you off the top of my head 5 structures that if we had the funds to purchase them or some program that we could go in and make the repairs to get those units back online for people, it's a blight on the neighborhood that they're sitting like they are, for one, so it improves the whole neighborhood, but imagine the improvement to that family who now has an awesome house to live in where, their kids can have bikes and not, you can't have a bike when you live in an apartment. It's not, or it's hard to have a bike when you live in an apartment.
Yeah, definitely.
So things like that. So those are my 2. If I had 2
big goals.
If I had $1 million,
that's cool.
Or 2.
You've worked before Coastal. You've worked in Asbury Park for a while.
Yeah.
And you seem to enjoy and love the area. Are you from Monmouth County? Are you from the area?
I'm from Ocean County.
Oh,
originally.
That's okay. That's cool. I told you. Leo's like Ocean County. There you go. Boom. Ocean County representing.
Okay. We're in Ocean County.
I grew up in Bricktown.
Oh, nice. Brick.
And then I lived in New Hampshire for 10 years. And then when I moved back, I moved to Ocean County because my family was basically up in this area now. So.
And so, what do you think? What drew you to like around here as far as Asbury Park and like being in this area and wanting to work and live and have fun in this area? What kind of comes to mind, like the beach or like the music?
I love the beach and I love the music for sure. And like I said, my family, my sister especially, was here, and a lot of friends that I had for a long time. So that's really what drew me to live in the area. But living in the area, when I first came back to New Jersey, I lived here, but I was working out in Trenton. And I just knew I wanted, not because of the commute, but I just knew I wanted to work in Asbury because it will sound cliche to, especially, but it's really kind of a cool city. It's a super special place.
It is.
And there's so much diversity there. and so much energy to do good things. Again, I know I sound totally cliche, but I really believe it. You know, I
love it.
I can go to a community day on the west side, and there's all this great positive energy, and you know, the community, I think, is really, and I've been working in Asbury for about 12 years. The community is really starting to come together more. So you see it more as one Asbury Park, where it's not east side and west side and, you know, the four quadrants of the city and all. So working in Trenton, I kind of kept thinking to myself, I really need to find a job that's like working in Asbury, right where I live, or not, you know, the city I live in, but right here in my backyard, so that I can, you know, do some good work. And
you kind of manifested that, huh?
Yeah.
That's great.
So I'm not going to say where you live. I don't know if you want to put that out there or not. But what I will say is, you being from the area, you know this whole kind of coastal towns. Where do you go? Because today is May 1st. It's going to be May, right? So we are kicking off. I don't know. I'm sure you follow the show. We're kicking off this month Pizza Quest.
Oh, yeah.
And so
it's happening.
Where do you go if you want to get
a slice,
a really good slice of pizza?
Just
at the
a
Jersey
slice?
Shore? Just
Yeah,
one
just
slice.
where we're doing Pizza Quest is all about, because, you know, there's the Pete and Elda's, there's the Vic's, there's places you can go, there's fancy places like Tallulah's, but like old school Jersey slice of a, you know, slice of pizza, plain, where do you go? Just to grab it and go. That's delicious. Up and down, Ocean, Monmouth, doesn't matter.
The one slice, I go to Luigi's.
Oh, all right,
right
perfect.
outside the gates of Ocean Grove.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
I used to live right there,
Yeah.
so it was super convenient, but
It's good, though.
it reminds me of, they might get mad if they heard me say this, but it reminds me of like growing up and going to the boardwalk and getting the big giant boardwalk slice that's like kind of like greasy.
Yeah.
It's not quite as greasy, but it kind of reminds me of that. It's
That's
like the old
perfect.
school. But I got to tell you, I love Pete and Alda's.
Yeah,
It's my
I mean,
favorite.
yeah. That's why it's not it's not fair. You know, we're going for the slice places
Yeah.
because other than
I
that,
gave the slice answer, but
you
I
know.
had to get the Pete and Alda's.
yeah, Pete and Elda's is, you know, honestly, I had that yesterday. Sorry. The wife wanted it. What am I gonna do? My hands are tied. What am I gonna say? You know, she was like, "I don't want Pete." I'm like, "Yeah, of course." What are you? She's like,
Yeah,
maybe
how can
we
you not
should."
want
Yeah.
We're supposed to be pizza questing. It's slice pizzas only.
We're gonna
for-
do that.
All
Trust me.
right.
I could do both in one day.
Wow.
Not even like have a problem with it. But yeah, Luigi's. I'm gonna have to. You're I think the second person that's mentioned them.
I mean, they have, when you go into Luigi's, they have a lot of specialty pizza,
Yeah.
but just a plain
Just
slice,
a plain, just because that's
it's
like.
still darn good.
You know, that's like, to me, when you go into a new restaurant, if it's like a, you know, a bar type whatever restaurant, I get a burger because if I don't know anything about it, the burger really is like the, you know, the quantitative, like, if you could do this well, I'll trust you on other things. And as far as pizza goes, it's a plain slice of pizza is like how you can tell, you know. And the more we talk about Pizza Quest, the word's getting out there, and people are like really have their opinions on what is and what isn't, you know, the best. So I'm looking forward to, you know, it's going to be May. So
I am very, very, very happy. And I have been waiting, and now I can do nothing but just eat pizza. I have an excuse. I was holding back in April because I knew I was okay. It's going to be the launch date now, but I'm ready. Today, it's pizza. Tomorrow, it's pizza. It's pizza every day, so it's going to be good. Now, when you're rolling me out of here by the end of the summer,
maybe.
Yeah, my face is all greasy. I'll tell you now, it was worth it. I see you around a lot in just participating in all of the things that the town has to offer, Asbury Park and just, you know, the major players, Red Bank, Asbury Park. So what are some, and I know that you go and have enjoyed some of the events happening around town as well, and we are about being totally local in events. What are some of the things that you've gone to recently that you've really enjoyed? I know I've seen you you've been to some movie festivals. I've seen you at the Fractal Sasquatch show.
Yeah, so I try and go out and do music whenever I can. The Fractal Sasquatch show at Langosta was super fun. This last weekend, I was able to do the Asbury Park restaurant tour, which is, you know, for locals, you know, you're going to know the restaurants, but it's still a real, you know, so it brings in a crowd more, I think, from outside of Asbury, who come and buy those tickets. But I have to say, as a local person, it's still really fun to get together with a group of friends and, you know, just walk Asbury Park, like in a way that, you know, sometimes you're okay, we're going to go here tonight or we're going to do this. And you kind of get caught up instead of just like wandering. So it's sort of an excuse to wander aimlessly in Asbury Park and stop in restaurants that maybe you don't always go to. And, of course, you can always have a beverage or two at those restaurants. And you can go as quickly or as or as slow as you want on that tour. So that was really fun.
Do you you pay to do it and then you get like a break? Like when you go into the places that are participating, they just give you like a little something to nosh on and a drink, or what do you get? Just
you
the
usually
food?
Just get a sample. You don't get the drink.
Okay.
But it does become, you need to rest and have something to drink in between the walking and the eating. So you get to, one of our first stops was at Bonnie Reed, and we got a great little spot right at the bar. So we had our sample, and then we got to sit down and have a couple of Bloody Marys, which was really nice.
That's perfect.
And just, for me, it's being with the people that you're with, being with friends and stuff, and being in that city. So that was fun, and then we got to go to part of the film festival on Sunday night to see the Train movie, which I can't remember the name of exactly. If anybody,
I was telling Heather before, as far as like Fish fans, I'm like on a scale of 10, I'm probably like a 5 or a 6. So out of the people we know, we're probably the worst Fish fans here. So if you don't remember the name, I don't remember.
Maybe between me and my mind, but I'm not sure, and I wouldn't want it to be wrong. So sorry people listening who are going to be really mad at me for not knowing the name.
It's fine.
But in terms of it being like a movie festival, because I know they were doing lots of different movies this past weekend, how was that event? Was it well attended?
Yeah, it was well attended. I thought it was great. It was a Sunday night, so and it didn't start until probably 7:30. So for me, that's late on a school night to be going to work the next day. So it was very well attended, I thought. And then they had the marathon, the Jersey Shore Marathon was in Asbury.
There's so much going on.
There was a ton going on this weekend.
It's just going to get more and more crazy. And that's interesting, too. Like, you go to other towns, and it seems like this area, we love Monmouth and Ocean County, but as far as Asbury Park is concerned, it just seems cooler because they do have these big bands, and then they have these local events. It's such a mix of things going on. There's always something to kind of do.
Absolutely.
So
the music scene is just amazing, and to see some of the national bands at the Stone Pony on the summer stage, and then you can go over to Springwood Park and catch a local jazz guy or something, which is just as cool. So
I'm not a schlepper. I don't like schlepping around. I don't want to go into the city, and like the fact that you could just kind of literally be like 5 minutes away from going to see like a national act is my kind of it's my cup of tea right there.
We're pretty lucky.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, while a lot of our friends were at the Trey movie for the movie festival that was happening this weekend, a lot of other people, including Andrew and myself, were in Red Bank at the Count Basie
Another
Theater.
Favorite city of ours.
I just want to take 1 second and thank. Who am I going to thank?
You're going to thank Anthony from Remember Jones.
I'm gonna thank him because he gave us an experience. He gifted us some tickets to go check out his show.
He's a friend of the show, as everyone knows, because we talk about him too much.
He's one of
we just
our
saw
early
him.
friends of the show.
He was a guest at the Fractal Sasquatch show, and one of the singers, epic shouts to Gina, like at one point. They're covering Queen. It's a tribute to Queen. And at one point, like, this chorus shows up in the back. Like, they turn the lights on, and I'm like, is that Gina? Like, I didn't even know she was going to be in the show. But it was such a good performance. Like, he really, like, Anthony puts it all together and really, works his ass off to, like, get it all perfect. And people were standing up. You go into Count Basie, and it's like you can go to crazy shows in there, and you'll have people that are just. I'm more of a sitter, to be quite honest. Like if there's a seat and I could sit down, I'm gonna sit down. But for this show, people kept standing up, so you had to keep
goodness.
People were hyped, like everybody, so you had to like keep standing up, and it wasn't. Sometimes I'll be like, oh man, I gotta stand up, or I'll be like, I'm just gonna sit here, I don't care. But for this show, I just kept getting up. It was really like, I don't know, it was fun.
Yeah.
I kept looking at Leo just to see his look. And then like he'd get up and then he'd be dancing around.
But yeah, it was a great time, and we ran into friend of the show Jody as well. And
Fly and Release yoga.
Yep, got to spend some time with her, so it was nice to meet her. And Tom and then everybody else. We saw Danny. So thank you to everybody who came out. Thank you for the tickets. They're going on a 30-city tour.
Yeah,
so
that's
check
crazy.
out Remember Jones, their Instagram, and
Talk about totally
check them
local,
out.
going big.
I know,
You know?
expanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad he got in here before, before he's just too Hollywood for us.
Which
so.
is like 3 days from now. So you were saying that you have lots of stuff going into the Restore. People should check it out all the time. How can they do that? How can they get more information about the coastal habitat?
So you can follow us on Facebook. The store is open Wednesday through Saturday from 10 to 5.
Yeah.
On Facebook and social media, you can follow us, and there'll be sales posted and just items that come in. And we have actually 2 Facebook pages. You can also follow our Coastal Habitat. I don't know why we have
do you
two
got
Facebook pages.
two
I don't know.
Facebook pages?
And it's one of the things that we're looking at curing after a year and a half. But you can go there and see information. We cross-post most things anyway. But you can see information also about how to get involved and what's happening on our builds. We always are posting when we have volunteer groups come out. We'll do shout-outs to the volunteer groups or upcoming programs that we have going on. We have right in the Restore itself, we have a space where it's called our Mission Wall, where we have pictures from programming that we've done and information from our community partners, information about community events that are coming up and going on. And you can always just walk into the Restore or basically into our admin offices Monday through Friday, and you're going to be greeted if you come into admin by our volunteer coordinator. And she'll grab you and figure out what you want to do and how you can help. And, you may want to bang nails on a job site or rake a lawn or do some planting, or you may want to sell some stuff in the Restore, or you may want to just make a donation. Everybody who does any of those things, and so many more things is really helping us do the work that we do.
That's great. That's cool.
And, sometimes people like me, I don't even know, hammer, nails, what? So for anybody who maybe just wants to give some money, cash, you will take it.
We will always take that.
And I noticed that there's a donate button on your coastalhabitat.com website, so they can go there and they can donate that way as well, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, cool. Well, Heather, thank you.
Painless, right?
Thank you. Yeah, it wasn't terrifying.
Friend of the show, Whoopi, was bugging you out, and young Steve Mitchell wasn't helping either with encouragement. So, it's I'm so glad that we've talked to certain people that are kind of reluctant to come on the show and talk to us. I don't know why. And you seemed a tad, you were like, but you did it because it's, getting the word out is good. And you're friggin' natural. So, I really appreciate, I really, respect and love everything that you're about and you're doing. And thank you for coming on the show.
Tks for having me.
Cool.
Sorry it took me so long.
Oh, no.
No, perfect.
What's our social media?
Welp. We are on Instagram. It's totally_local_podcast. You could find us on totallylocalpodcast.com and everywhere else. Just look us up. Google it, man. Totally Local Podcast. You can find us on all different kinds of podcast places like Spotify now. That's about it. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you.
Thank you, A Shared Universe Podcast Studio. As always, thank you, Ming. And thank our guest, Heather.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fine Health Kombucha. I had the sweet pea today. I don't know if this is one of the ones that you should do another batch of, but I like it. But there were other ones I liked more.
And I have a Darnarius Targaryen egg for everybody watching the stream, which is very cool.
We're going to hatch some dragons.
We're going to have dragons.
Oh, I got to fade it out.